Alejandro here once again, and welcome. I want to make sure that I keep this video as short as possible, so I'm going to be talking a little bit faster than I was in the previous video. Want to make sure that we also get our dose of wisdom, so we'll start there with just one little item that I wanted to mention that I forgot in the other video. And another reason, very important to a lot of people for transitioning to this method of shaving, is the cost savings. It's much more economical to buy the double-edged blades once you know exactly which one is best for you. So we'll touch upon that in a little bit of time. But more importantly, I wanted to talk about you're going to be finding yourself investing in this in various accessories and things like that. And that brings me to finding myself in a constant pursuit to better myself. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about sharpening our skills and investing in you, because you're number one. You have to go into the world and think that if anyone's going to take care of you, it's going to be you, nobody else. My parents used to always say that, and my analogy is this. When you're in an airplane and, in the unforeseeable chance that you may need to use the oxygen masks, who puts on that oxygen mask first when it drops from the top? Only you, because if you don't have your mask on, you won't have enough oxygen, you won't be able to make some critical decisions, you won't have the strength to move and do what you have to do, and you won't be able to help anybody else, regardless of who's sitting beside you. So always take care of number one. One other piece that I'll leave you before we move to the shave piece of this video is that in your organizations that you've been employed at, you have to think to yourself, they're giving me some training, and I hear this from people, well, they're investing in me, why do I have to invest in myself outside of my organization? Well, I challenge you with this. Think about their self-interests, and potentially they're bringing in third parties to teach you how to buy, how to sell, how to invest, how to negotiate, etc. But it could be done from a perspective that is much more geared towards just that industry or that company in particular. So I challenge you to think about looking for outside courses and things of that nature that may give you a much more broader perspective that, again, you can apply with your career and with your family life. Blades are an important component of your shave. My suggestion is that you invest in a sample pack. I have fanned out a selection of the blades that I currently have and that I'm actually going through for the second time. This is very important because different people's skin react very differently to different blades. So some might be very sharp, but sharpest is not always best on your skin. Different ones have made of different materials, may have different coatings, and your skin may react very differently. So my suggestion is that you get a sample pack and you try as many as possible. Now, I'm going to demonstrate here how you remove the blades and how you put one in, okay? This is a two-piece double-edged safety razor. Mine is a bit of a short stub, a bit heavier. My preference is that for beginners, and we'll discuss why in a little bit. So you just basically remove very carefully with the edges there to remove the blade, because they are very sharp, so you don't want to be touching the piece that actually cuts the whiskers. Now, this is a blade bank, which I created myself. It's also very important because that's where you'll be disposing of your blades rather than putting them just in a garbage bag. So this will be a collection of blades there. Once it fills up, obviously it will take some time. You can throw that into the garbage. But it also prevents little ones and other critters that you might have in the house from getting in at your blades. So the blades are typically wrapped at least in one piece of paper. Some have a wax type of a page also inside. You simply just slip it right through the main pole there, and then you bring it into the three holes here, just like that. This one in particular, you tighten it up by screwing it in from the bottom. That tightens up the blade, and if you look at the side here, there's a bit of a curvature there. The reason that there's a curvature there is because that way the blade will be angled perfectly on this side, so that when you rub it against your face, it's not a sharp blade that could potentially give you cuts. It's rather going flush with your skin as well. Now that double-edged safety razor is ready for a shave, and as you can see at the bottom there, I included a Chevette that basically uses the exact same blades, but we're going to have to leave that for a completely other series because that's another animal in itself. However, I did want to show you one last thing, and that's my safety blade log guide. So, for example, when you finish using your blade, I highly recommend that you write down what your experience was like. How did your skin react? How did it feel? Did it cut smooth? Were you able to use it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times? And did it maintain its sharpness, etc., so that you can pinpoint which one is best for you, so you can then invest in the 50 or 100 blade packages that they come in. Now my face is completely prepped for the shave. I've used the warm water, I've got the lather on my face. So let's sharpen our skills in terms of how to use our double-edged safety razor. So part of what I wanted to describe to you today, and this is just so I know where my sideburns go to, is when you apply your safety razor, you'll have to find that right angle. The way you'll do that, and it's just trial and error in my opinion, people talk about certain angles and such, but you will be able to tell by the way that it cuts your whiskers. One other thing that I wanted to point out is that because this is a different style of shaving, you'd have to get out of the, what you're used to in terms of using those multi-blade cartridges and pushing on your skin, against your skin. The reason I recommend this type of double-edged safety razor, which is a bit heavier and mine is chunkier and shorter, so that I don't hold it with all my fingers, is it prevents you from wanting to push that onto your skin and pulling too much. So I only hold it with the 2-3 fingers like this. I place it against my skin, and I basically let the weight of the double-edged safety razor do the work. And I don't know if you can actually hear what is happening here, but I'll move closer so hopefully you can hear. So that's the type of sound that you want to hear when you're using it. Now don't forget, this is only the first pass, so it's not going to look so pristine and like a baby's bum, but you're going to do it multiple times, which is something that we're going to continue to talk about as the series moves along. I just completed my first pass, and there's another set of figures that I hear oftentimes, and it's this magic number of how much should you invest in yourself per year. That doesn't have to be a certain percentage, 5%, 10%. What I say is at least think about investing some time. Obviously if you don't have the funds, but even investing some money into a course, an audiobook, or the library, or something of that nature is going to continue to help to better yourself. And at the end of the day, I have a close friend of mine that always says you can't afford not to go or not to invest. So the reason for that is that if you don't go and you don't invest, you won't be able to acquire some of this additional knowledge and apply it in your daily life. And I'll leave you with one last thing, and that's that the whole point of this is of bettering yourself is so that you can be better for you. However, as a residual, you'll be better for your customers, for your company, for your family, for your sons, daughters, for your community, for the world, etc. So I'm going to continue to get my shave on. Hope you have a great week. Hope you found this very useful. Always welcoming your comments. You can leave your comments below anytime. Thank you very much.